So good morning to all of you and welcome back again in our online classes for Bhalera Science College Sounded BSc Semester 3 Paper 1, which having the name Angiosperm Systematics and Embryology, part of embryology and indoor gardening. So dear students, in the previous lecture we have started the part of unit number 3, which having the name Embryology. And under the heading of embryology, we are discussing the pollination, anther, ovule, and finally the fertilization. Our recent topic, that is the structure of ovule, that the structure of anatropus ovule, which is directly linked to the process of megasporogenesis, that is the part of development of female gametophyte. So dear students, in the previous lecture we have started the structure of anatropus ovule, and today we will discuss in detail the LS of ovule, that is the longitudinal section of ovule in the detail. As per the earlier lecture that we have discussed the overview of the structure of anatropus ovule. Now let's just talk about this structure of anatropus ovule. Each ovule develops inside the ovary and is attached to the placenta by a stalk called as a funiculus. ठीक है, हर एक ओव्यूल जो होता है वो ओवरी के अंदर अटैच होता है प्लासेंटा से, which is the nutritive tissue, by a stalk which is called as a funiculus. So you can see here that each ovule it consists of one stalk. One stalk is there, and this stalk is attached to the one structure which is called as a placenta. This placenta is nothing but the part of nutritive tissue, and its axis or the stalk of the ovule is called as the funicle. Then the place of attachment of funiculus with the main body of ovule is called as the hilum. ठीक है, मतलब this is the part of body of ovule, और ये जो body of ovule है, it is start to attach to the axis, ठीक है, जैसे funiculus का है, ये funiculus जहाँ पे attach होना शुरू होता है body of ovule को, that point of attachment is called as hilum. ठीक है, उस point of attachment को hilum कहा जाता है. In case of angiosperm, the most common type of ovule is the anatropus ovule. ठीक है, एंजियोस्पर्म के केस में जो ओव्यूल होता है वो एनाट्रोपस ओव्यूल होता है. Now what is this anatropus ovule? ये anatropus ovule क्या होता है? The ovule in which micropyle is directed downward and is present adjacent to the funiculus. ठीक है, एनाट्रोपस ओव्यूल के केस में जो एक माइक्रोपाइल मतलब जो ओपनिंग होती है, ठीक है, एंड दिस ओव्यूल इज डाउनवर्डली डायरेक्टेड ओपनिंग, मतलब नीचे की तरफ इसकी ओपनिंग होती है. इस तरह के ओव्यूल को कहा जाता है एनाट्रोपस ओव्यूल. The ovule consists of the central parenchymatous tissue, which is called as the nucellus, which is surrounded by usually by the two protective coverings, which is called as the integuments. First one is the outer integument, and another one is the inner integuments. So simply you can see that inside the body of ovule, ठीक है, जो body of ovule होती है इसके अंदर क्या होता है, there is a presence of nutritive tissue which is called as the nucellus. ठीक है, उसे nucellus कहा जाता है, right? The nucellus is there, so here is the labeling of nucellus. ठीक है, so this is the nutritive tissue or the parenchymatous tissue filled part that which is called as the nucellus, and inside the and this nucellus it is surrounded or it is protected by the two coverings, that is the outer integument and inner integuments. ठीक है, so protective covering around the nucellus is called as integuments. ठीक है, उन्हें integuments कहा जाता है, and these integuments having consist of the two layers, that is the outer layer, outer integuments, inner layer, that is the inner integuments. A narrow opening at the apex of the ovule is called as a micropyle. ठीक है, micropyle के नीचे एक narrow opening होती है, and this narrow opening of ovule is called as the इस narrow opening को micropyle कहा जाता है. A narrow opening at the apex of ovule is called as a micropyle. Chalaza is the base of ovule directly opposite to the micropyle. ठीक है, chalaza जो होता है it is a base of ovule. ठीक है, ये base होता है ovule का, which is directly opposite to the micropyle. ठीक है, means this end is the chalaza end or this part is a chalaza. ठीक है, chalaza जो होता है वो opposite होता है directly. It is directly opposite to the micropyle. ठीक है. So the narrow opening at the apex of the ovule is called as a micropyle. ठीक है. Micropyle जो होता है वो narrow opening होती है at the apex. At the apex of ovule, a narrow opening at the apex of ovule is called as the micropyle, and the chalaza is the base of ovule directly opposite to the micropyle. ठीक है. Then the embryo sac, that is a female gametophyte, is an oval multicellular structure which is embedded in the nucellus. ठीक है. एम्ब्रियो जो होता है, एम्ब्रियो सैक जो होता है, एम्ब्रियो सैक को उन्होंने नाम दिया है द फीमेल गमेटोफाइट. ठीक है. द फीमेल गमेटोफाइट इज ओवल मल्टीसेलुलर स्ट्रक्चर व्हिच इज एम्बेडेड इनसाइड द न्यूसेलस. ठीक है. न्यूसेलस के अंदर एक ओवल शेप स्ट्रक्चर होता है. ठीक है. एंड दिस ओवल शेप स्ट्रक्चर इज कॉल्ड एज द एम्ब्रियो सैक, and this embryo sac is nothing but a part of female gametophyte. It is oval multicellular structure which is embedded in the nucellus. ठीक है. nucellus के अंदर present होता है. So this is again the part of LS. We can say that it is a part of LS of anatropus ovule, that is a longitudinal section or vertical section of the anatropus ovule. Now, what are the parts or what are the contents which are present inside this anatropus ovule? ठीक है. anatropus ovule के अंदर कौन से पार्ट्स होती है हम लोग यहाँ पे थोड़ा जान लेते हैं और उसके बाद हम लोग रुकेंगे. The anatropus ovule, it consists of the antipodal cells, which are a group of 3 cells present at the chalazal end. ठीक है. वहां पे 3 antipodal cells होती है. ठीक है. The group of 3 antipodal cells are there in case of the LS of anatropus ovule. So these are the 3 cells which are commonly called as the antipodal cells, right? Which is present at the chalazal end. ठीक है. anatropus ovule के chalazal end में group of 3 cells होती है, उन्हें antipodal cells कहा जाता है. The two haploid polar nuclei of large central cell fuse to form the diploid secondary nucleus or definitive nucleus just prior to the fertilization. ठीक है. वहां पे 2 haploid polar nuclei आती है of large central cell fused to form the diploid secondary nucleus और definitive nucleus just prior to the fertilization. ठीक है. मतलब fertilization होने के पहले वहां पे आप लोग देख सकते हैं that secondary nucleus, the secondary nucleus, it is made up of the 2 haploid nuclei. ठीक है. 2 haploid nuclei से वहां पे एक स्ट्रक्चर, कंबाइंड स्ट्रक्चर बनता है which is commonly called as secondary nucleus. secondary nucleus कहा जाता है. So this anatropus ovule, which consists of the secondary nucleus, उसके पास में secondary nucleus होता है. ठीक है. And this secondary nucleus, it is made up of the 2 haploid nuclei. ठीक है. 2 haploid nuclei से बना हुआ रहता है. So the 2 haploid polar nuclei, 2 haploid polar nuclei जब एक दूसरे से जुड़ जाते हैं तो वहां पे एक स्ट्रक्चर बनता है, उसका नाम है secondary nucleus, और इट इज आल्सो कॉल्ड एज डेफिनेटिव न्यूक्लियस. ठीक है. मतलब सेकेंडरी न्यूक्लियस को ही डेफिनेटिव न्यूक्लियस कहा जाता है. एंड दिस प्रोसेस विल बी कैरिड आउट जस्ट प्रायर टू द फर्टिलाइजेशन. मतलब फर्टिलाइजेशन होने के पहले सेकेंडरी न्यूक्लियस वहां पे डेवलप हो जाता है. दिस इज अ 7 celled and 8 nucleated structure which is called as an embryo sac. ठीक है. तो यहाँ पे देखिए हम लोग देख सकते हैं कि कैसे यहाँ पे 7 celled 8 nucleated structure वहां पे बन जाता है. So you can see here in the embryo sac के अंदर आप लोग देख सकते हैं 3 सेल्स जो है ऊपर की तरफ दिखाई दे रहा है आप लोगों को 1, 2 and 3, और नीचे की तरफ 3 सेल है 1, 2 and 3. ठीक है. तो टोटल कितनी सेल होगी? 6 सेल्स होगी. ठीक है. इन्होंने 7 सेल बोला है तो ये कंप्लीट एक सेल जो है एम्ब्रियो सैक, ये 7 नंबर की सेल है. ठीक है. तो मतलब 3 सेल्स ऊपर, 3 सेल्स नीचे और एक कंबाइंड सेल. ठीक है. तो ये होगी टोटल आपकी 7 सेल, 8 न्यूक्लिएट. 8 न्यूक्लिएट मतलब कैसे हुआ यहाँ पे? We can see here that 8 nucleate structure. So the embryo sac, in this embryo sac, that oval shaped structure. Inside this oval shaped structure, that is, there is a presence of three cells at the upper side, which are called as the antipodal cells. Then three cells at the lower side, which is the part of egg apparatus. And at the center, there is a presence of secondary nucleus. So completely, that seven-celled, eight-nucleate structure is there. So you can see here that this is the first nucleus, this is the second nucleus, this is the third nucleus. Here there is a two nucleus are there, which are fused. Here is the one, here is the one again, and here is the one. So total कितने हो गए nucleus? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. ठीक है. So total 8 nucleus are there and 7 cell. ऊपर की 3 सेल है, नीचे की 3 सेल है, 6 सेल होगी. ठीक है. और ये कंबाइन एक सेल, कंप्लीट सेल. That is a 7-celled and 8 nucleate structure. So you can see here the 7-celled and 8 nucleate structure is here. So the 7-celled 8 nucleate structure is there in case of the embryo sac. ठीक है, तो 7 सेल आपको समझ में आ गई. ठीक है, 7 cell and 8 nucleate structure is there. Now the part of the embryo sac, this is the method. This method of embryo sac development, ठीक है, मतलब यहाँ पे उन्होंने बताया कि this method of embryo sac development from the single megaspore is described as monosporic development. ठीक है, मतलब एक सिंगल मेगास्पोर से ये एम्ब्रियो सैक डेवलप होता है, इसलिए उसे मोनोस्पोरिक डेवलपमेंट कहते हैं. ठीक है, इसलिए जो एंजियोस्पर्मिक ओव्यूल होता है, ठीक है, इट इज अ मोनोस्पोरिक एंडोस्पोरिक 7-celled and 8 nucleate structure. ठीक है, इन एंजियोस्पर्म development of female gametophyte is endosporous. ठीक है, endosporous means that is within the megaspore. megaspore के अंदर होता है, मतलब फीमेल gametophyte के अंदर होता है development of female gamete. ठीक है, female gametophyte is colorless, endosporic and concealed in the ovule enclosed by the ovary. ठीक है, so that's why finally we can say that angiospermic ovule, जो angiospermic ovule होता है, it is monosporic, endosporic, then 7-celled and 8 nucleate structure. So finally you can remember that angiospermic ovule, it is 7-celled, endosporic, monosporic, endosporic, 7-celled, 8 nucleate structure, and this type of structure is called as the polygonum type of ovule. ठीक है, उसे polygonum type of ovule भी कहा जाता है. Now why it is called as a polygonum type of ovule? Because it consists of because it is the monosporic, endosporic, 7-celled, 8 nucleate structure. ठीक है. So in this way, in the today's lecture, we have discussed in detail the LS of ovule. ठीक है, हम लोग LS of ovule हम लोगों ने यहाँ पे discuss किया. LS, that is a longitudinal section. The angiospermic ovule, mostly it is an anatropus ovule, which consists of downwardly directed opening, which is called as a micropyle. The bent axis along with downwardly directed opening, which is called as a micropyle, and this type of ovule is called as a anatropus ovule. In this anatropus ovule, two sides are there, chalazal end and the micropyle end. Then it consists of the stalk. Stalk is attached to the body of ovule at the point which is called as a hilum. Inside the body of ovule, there is a presence of the parenchymatous tissue structure which is called as a nucellus. Nucellus is covered by the two layers, which is called as the integument, outer integument and the inner integument. Inside the nucellus, there is a presence of embryo sac, which is a part of female gametophyte. It is a 7-celled, 8 nucleate structure. Inside the embryo sac, the two haploid nuclei present at the center, which is combined to form the secondary nucleus. Secondary nucleus also called as a definitive nucleus. Then later on, the embryo sac which is a part of female gametophyte. It is 7-celled 8-nucleate structure which consists of the 3 antipodal cells at the chalazal end, 3 egg cells, that is a part of egg apparatus at the micropylar end, and 1 combined cell is there. So, and finally it is called as a 7-celled 8-nucleate structure. So the anatropus ovule, we can say that it is monosporic, endosporic, endosporic, and 7-cell 8-nucleate structure, which is called as a polygonum type of ovule. Okay, so polygonum type of ovule कहा जाता है. So this is all about the today's lecture. I think we have to stop here. Remaining portion we'll discuss in the next lecture. और आप लोगों को attendance देनी है group पे. ठीक है, you should have to attend your name and when not present. I think we have to stop here. Remaining portion we'll discuss in the next lecture. तब तक के लिए सब लोगों को stay home, stay safe. सब लोगों को bye.